In a world where losing in your fantasy football league isn't an option, we present to you Triple Coverage Podcast.
Hey YouTubers, if you like what you see, make sure you click subscribe below. Today we're going to do a live mock draft for our redraft league, so crack a cold one and enjoy.
In a world where losing in your fantasy football league isn't an option, we present to you Triple
Once we have your
Coverage
lead in,
Podcast.
then I'll begin the draft, and it'll make you on the clock pretty quick.
You gotta cipher through the BS and get to the mitts and the grits.
Yes, the mitts and the grits.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. They're bitter, man. Collard greens are bitter.
What else is bitter?
The taste in my mouth when I draft the wrong guy on my team. Yeah. You gotta hack through the hacks. And we're gonna mock through the mocks. Welcome to the podcast. Today we're gonna do a mock draft. I'm here with the boys at TCP. I'm with James Up and Jay Up.
What's up, guys? Whoop, whoop.
And I'm Travis Sutton. Welcome. So join us. We're gonna get started on this. It's a PPR mock.
It is 12 team.
12-teamer. Jay, you got you're going out of the 4-hole.
I am.
James, you got 6-hole.
Yep.
And I'm coming at the dreaded turn, the 12 spot. And we'll see how this shakes out. This is our first kind of mock of the year together.
It is.
It is.
And,
Yes.
This is gonna tell a lot.
Is it?
I think so. You know what?
No funny business.
I was just gonna say, like, I don't have a draft strategy. Not to say that I have one. Usually, in the past, I tended to say, okay, I definitely want to get 2 good receivers or whatever it is going in, and as soon as the draft starts and all the receivers start going, changes pretty quick. So we're all 3 going in. I think I can speak for all of us to say that we don't really have a draft strategy. Just whatever comes, and we'll talk it out, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go for the best player available and just kind of let my lineup kind of shake itself out.
So what? How many rounds are we doing?
I'm going to fly by the seat of my pants.
Me too.
Let's just do it.
What are we doing, 10?
We're doing 10 rounds, no kicker, no defense. We're doing 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 flex, and then 2 bench players. So 10 full rounds, no kicker, no defense. You guys ready?
Yeah, we'll see how it shakes out. Maybe down the road we can do a full one, just depending on how this one kind of shakes out. So Le'Veon Bell, David Johnson, Todd Gurley go off 1, 2, 3. Jay's on the clock. I think I know who's going to take.
Me
This is
too.
going to be easy for me. You guys already know I will take Ezekiel Elliott.
Wow.
Nice pick.
In between Jay and I is Antonio Brown, so that puts me on the clock.
In the 6-hole.
See, this
What are you
has
thinking about? What guys you looking at?
This has Alvin Kamara as the next available player, but it also, I see Barkley, I see Leonard Fournette, I see Hopkins is still there, Beckham's still there. I am a little worried that if I don't take a receiver, Travis is going to double up on the receivers, but I'm not that worried. I'm going to take Saquon Barkley, and I'll go with the rookie for my first pick.
It's running back heavy up here.
It definitely is.
There they start going.
There.
So yeah, you took Barkley, then went Kamara, Fournette, Gordon, Odell, and Hopkins right before me at 12.
Nice. I'm glad you didn't get any one of
Yeah,
those two.
man, that's rough. I would have definitely jumped on that train.
Talk us through this. You got the top 3 receivers gone, and the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 running backs gone.
And you have back-to-back picks, though, so...
A lot of options.
You could go the running back receiver and just have 1 stud at each spot. You could go, even with what's left, you could go back-to-back running backs here and have a pretty good start, too.
Yeah, this is definitely kind of it's a tough one. I think I might stick with some wide receivers, and I'm gonna go.
Wow, there's a lot of them.
I'm gonna go Michael Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna go Keenan Allen.
PPR guys.
See, to me, that's a smart move. I like going the back-to-back receivers, but it just shows you that there's still value at the number 12 spot. So if you do your draft and you're sitting there and you come up to number 12 and you're like, the very end, like you're still getting good value. Like you're getting top receivers.
Yeah, 8 of the first 9 picks were running backs.
Right.
So after you, who went?
After me, Jordan Howard went off at the 202. Then we got Hunt, Kareem, Devontae Adams, Devontae Freeman, Julio Jones went 206.
That's actually not too bad
Yeah,
for Julio. So that puts me on the clock, and I have Saquon Barkley already, and I'm looking at the next available players ADP-wise, and they all seem to be running back still. If you scroll down to the wide receivers, I just don't love them. You have A.J. Green, you have Mike Evans, you have T.Y. Hilton, you have Tyreek Hill, you have Doug Baldwin. those are the top 4 or 5 guys out of that position. And to be honest with you, in a PPR league, I don't love any of those guys. And so I'm willing to wait on wide receivers. So I'm now looking at the running backs.
You're not scared of a running wide receivers. Everybody in the top half of the first round basically took running backs. There's a good chance there's going to be a few that go off before it even comes back to you.
That's true, but I'm okay with that because, again, 4 or 5 of them can come off the board, even 6 of them come off the board before I really get into the, okay, now it's the 3rd round. I'm looking at the guys that are going around that 3rd round, and I'm okay with those guys being my number 1 to get another, in my opinion, top 10 running back. So the running backs that are available, Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, Jerick McKinnon, Christian McCaffrey, a lot of good options there in a PPR. I don't like taking guys that are coming off season-ending injuries, so I'm going to scroll down to my guy Christian McCaffrey, and I will be drafting Christian McCaffrey as my 2nd running back. So I have Barkley and McCaffrey.
Gronkowski goes right after that, and then Jay's back up.
Which leaves me, like I said before, going with the best player available. I don't know how this guy slid this far, but I will take Dalvin Cook as my 2nd pick. To get him in that spot is, to me, a steal.
I mean, it is if everything looks the way he looked the first 3 weeks or 3.5 weeks last season, but we don't know if he's just going to come right back to full strength, and that's what kind of scared me off him. With my 2nd round pick, I want to take a guy that is more of a sure thing.
So after that, after I took Dalvin Cook, you had Jerick McKinnon come off the board, AJ Green, Joe Mixon, and then Mike Evans.
3rd round.
First receiver for that number 1 pick. LaShawn McCoy, Derrick Henry, which brings me right back to my pick.
Talk it out, and then before you hit select, talk it out. You know what I mean? Give us a chance. Okay.
In years past, I probably would have started looking to okay, I have 2 running backs, now I have to have a receiver. But like James said, there's a lot of good receivers still left. I'm hoping that one of them will fall back down to me, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the best player available. And I feel like the best player available at this point, even though it's my 3rd running back, is going to be Darius Geis.
Wow.
I'm going to take him in the 3rd round here and start with 3 running backs on my draft.
Wow. I mean, yes, there is a lot of receivers available. I just don't know if I would ever pull the trigger on three running backs. I mean, I guess you have a flex spot. That's what it's there for.
And if there's any issues with Dalvin Cook, maybe you mitigate that a little bit.
That's kind of my thing too, is that if all 3 are healthy, I have a good starting core right there with Zeke.
3-headed monster.
Zeke, Cook, and Darius Geis. And if something does happen to Dalvin Cook, now I can slide Geis right into that 2 spot and hopefully use some of my depth later.
Right after Jay went Alex Collins, so we're talking 3rd round, 5th pick for Alex Collins. It puts James on the board, myself here at 306. And I'm looking again. It's the same, like Travis was saying about I'm worried about the receivers coming off the board, and there's only been 2 since I picked, and that was AJ Green and Mike Evans. So
yeah.
I got my guy McCaffrey that I really liked, and I still have the opportunity if I want to take Tyreek Hill and Doug Baldwin, Stephon Diggs, and the latter. I, however, am not going to go that route. I see a guy that I would normally not take a chance on, but I'm just hoping that he plays 1 full season and doesn't get hurt, and I'm going to go quarterback here, and I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers, which gives me Aaron Rodgers, Christian McCaffrey, and Saquon Barkley to start my draft. And I feel very confident to take him because I look at the quarterbacks that are going after him. And true, you can always get a quarterback. You can get any guy. Once Rodgers and Watson and Brady pretty much are off the board, it's kind of a drop-off for me. So I'm going to get my quarterback now so I don't have to worry about the quarterback position the rest of the draft. And I'll just pick apart the other positions and build my roster from there. So I will be going Aaron Rodgers with the 306. And after that...
Yeah, Tyreek Hill goes right after that at 307. Then it's Stephon Diggs, J.J., Adam Thielen, Lamar Miller right before me. I'm going to go back-to-back here at the last pick of the 3rd round and the first pick of the 4th round.
And you have Michael Thomas and Keenan Allen to start so far. So 2 receivers, 2 probably top 6 receivers at the worst. Pretty good start.
But this it also goes to show you that, like, Travis is in a situation where he may be looking running back or he may be looking to add the best player available. He could very well start with 3 receivers and try to get a running back. The next running back on the list, not necessarily Travis's list, but next up on the list on the ADP is Kenyon Drake.
Yeah.
So
it's Drake, Rashad Penny, Mark Ingram, Sony Michel, and the next 4 guys that are going in ADP. Not to say, again, that's Travis might like somebody better, but there's still a ton of receivers out there, in my opinion, that have a little bit more value than those guys.
Yeah, there's still a lot of good options out there. I'm actually going to go tight end. I'm going to take Travis Kelce. And then I'm going to come back. I'm going to go another wide receiver. I'm going to take my boy Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper, I honestly, he's gonna have a gigantic season this season, and that's a lot coming from me because I don't believe in his talent for anything. It's just the situation he's in with John Gruden in that offense. So he went Amari Cooper and Kelsey. So Michael Thomas, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper for his receiving core, and Travis Kelsey is his tight end. Right after Amari Cooper went T.Y. Hilton, Kenyon Drake, Brandon Cooks, Doug Baldwin, and Deshaun Watson, the second quarterback, went off the board right before me at the 407.
And if you're new to the whole drafting experience, first year player in fantasy football, you hear a lot of times if you're like reading up on stuff, the zero running back. That's kind of what Travis is doing. Not that he was going into the draft with that strategy, but being at the number 12 where he picked, that's kind of the method he's kind of going with. He's going to try to get running backs later that may pop, just for depth. But he started with 3 receivers and a tight end. So his first 4 picks, no running backs.
So now I'm on the clock, and here's my dilemma. The next few guys that are there, wide receiver, which I clearly need because I have a quarterback and 2 running backs. So the next couple guys, Josh Gordon, who, truth be known, I'm not a fan of, and I'm not willing to take a guy this early, not knowing what's going on with the situation. Second is Juju Smith, Demaryius Thomas, Alshon Jeffrey, Larry Fitzgerald. There's only one guy there I feel comfortable with being my number 1 receiver, and it's Larry Fitzgerald. But I'm going to look at other positions and see what else is available. Is there somebody that's better than Larry Fitzgerald? And I go over to tight end, and Gronkowski's gone, and Kelsey's gone. But there is one tight end that I still trust that's there, and that's Zach Ertz. Is going to be a top 3 guy. Zach Ertz has burned me in the past 2 separate seasons in our biggest league that we do have, which is a $500 league at the time. And every time that we draft him, he seemed to get hurt. And I'm not ready to fully commit in Zach Ertz yet. So, unfortunately, I don't know. I really want Zach Ertz. I really do. But I'm going to draft Larry Fitzgerald, and I'm going to go with the guy that gets 100 receptions every single year. It kills me to take him, but I'll take him and his about-to-retire body.
And if you wouldn't have gone him there, I would have taken him as my first receiver at the number 4 spot. So I think it was a good pick. Ertz for me wasn't in the consideration at that spot.
Maybe I'll get him on the swing around then.
You could very well get him on the swing around. There's basically, like you said, 3. The guys that I'm considering now that Fitzgerald is gone is I'm kind of going through. I don't want Gordon as my number 1. I like Ertz. I like Demaryius Thomas, and there's a guy Allen Robinson who's a little further down the list. But if he has any kind of chemistry with Trubisky whatsoever, I think it's going to be a good season for him. So I will go Allen Robinson.
So after my Larry Fitzgerald, between me and Jay was Rashad Penny also went in there. And now Jay took Allen Robinson as the number 1.
Everyone hurts.
After Allen Robinson was
Mark Ingram, then Juju Smith-Schuster, and Zach Ertz to close out the 4th round. So coming into the 5th round, Josh Gordon went off, Demaryius Thomas, Alshon Jeffrey. Now clearly there's a run on wide receivers happening.
Yeah.
The last 2 rounds have been heavy wide receiver.
So now, looking back, I'm actually glad that I didn't, or Jay didn't go Zach Ertz because, again, if we skip on a receiver there, now your number 1 receiver is looking pretty bleak, and you need magic to happen for that number 1 receiver to actually be a top 12 guy at this point because you're late in the 4th round. And, I mean, there's only so many wide receivers that you can rely on to be every down or every week, producer that you can rely on and plug them in your lineup. So if you don't get one soon,
it's a start 3 wide receiver league too
right.
with this setup. So receivers are kind of important because you need to roll 3 of them out there every week.
Yeah, I like your strategy a little bit more now. Now that I see a little bit, I mean, it takes a couple of rounds to see how things shake down.
This is why you do mock drafts.
It is.
Try different stuff. You see how the whole kind of draft shakes out.
Like, I'm always scared of going running back, no running back, because there's only so many elite running backs, and again, if you're picking number 12, the chances are you're not going to get one of those elite running backs anyway. So you might as well fully commit to the wide receiver back-to-back strategy like Travis did because it's going to benefit him in the long run. And now he's got 2 top 5 or 6 receivers there on his team, and I guarantee when it comes back to the swing round, he's still going to have plenty of options at running back. So that puts Jay on the clock at the 504 spot.
Puts me at the clock. I'm still not looking for tight end with the top 3 guys gone. Now I'm going to be waiting on a tight end with Ertz, Gronkowski, and Travis Kelsey all gone. What I want is obviously a little bit of depth at receiver. You look at the next tier of guys that's on
you need
the
starters,
list.
brother. You need starters.
Is a lot of rookie running backs. I'm going to go with one that's a receiver that's a little more sure-handed. He kind of finishes in the top 24 every year, and that's what I kind of need right now as receivers. I'm going to go with Golden Tate as my number 2 receiver behind Allen Robinson.
And then in between Jay and myself went Tom Brady, the 3rd quarterback off the board in the 5th round there, and now I'm on the clock at 5:06.
You got 2 running backs, a wide receiver, and a quarterback.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to talk this out. I'm going to mirror exactly what Jay just said about the tight end. Now that the top 3 are gone, there's a couple guys out there I still like, but I think if I wait 1, 2 rounds, even 3 rounds, I can still get one of those guys. So for me, it's between running back and receiver for the rest of the way for at least about 3 rounds. So I look at who's the next available, and the best is this not a tight end is Sony Michel, Ronald Jones, Royce Freeman, 3 rookie running backs. I'm not one to take a rookie running back this early. For me, it's still early, I guess. The only one I really rely on is Saquon Barkley, who I took in the 1st round, and he's the only guy that I would consider taking that early. So I'm going to look at wide receiver because I only have 1. And I see a guy that gets over 100 catches every single season. Unfortunately, he's in a different situation now. He's on Cleveland. With the Antonio Callaway thing that just happened and him getting busted for marijuana and them also trading Corey Coleman, I think there's even more of a chance that Jarvis Landry is going to get more targets there in Cleveland. I don't see their defense being world beaters, so they should be down and they should be throwing. And Tyrod Taylor to Jarvis Landry is going to happen. He's going to get the targets. So I'm going to take Jarvis Landry with the 506.
All right, that's a nice pick.
Thank you.
Guys that get a lot of receptions typically, so that'll do good for you. Right after that, Jarvis Landry pick, the 2nd half of the 5th round goes Royce Freeman, Ronald Jones, Sony Michel, all those rookie running backs in a row there. Marvin Jones, Marshawn Lynch, right before me at the 5-12, last pick of the 5th round. So I'm going back to back here once again.
You have 3 receivers and a tight end to start so far.
So I'm going to take a look at running backs because obviously I need running
Now's
backs.
the time.
I got.
Well, talk this out real quick for you.
Yeah.
This is that the 3 rookie running backs that just got taken. Were you eyeing any one of those to hopefully get one of, or any 4 of those guys that just went in that round?
I would have
hoping to
taken
drop?
only one of those guys. I would have taken Royce Freeman. Because I do believe he's going to be the starter there.
Yes,
So I think that's getting a number 1 in the 5th round. I would have done that
for sure.
So with him being gone, I wasn't really looking at Ronald Jones or Sony Michel or Marshawn Lynch, even though I kind of like him a little bit this year. So there's Deion Lewis, Carlos Hyde, Kerryon Johnson are probably the 3 guys that I would even consider right now as a running back. And I'm also going to take a look at wide receivers just to see what's out there because I'll take best player available.
Because you still have a flex spot you have 3 receivers, it's a 3-start league, but there's also a flex spot. So there is, if you wanted to go receiver,
You could go 4 receivers, yeah.
So for me right now, it's between
I see you.
Sammy Watkins. So
Mhm.
I love my boy Sammy. He's
And-
playing it healthy, baby, all the way. And maybe,
we all know. Go ahead.
man, I don't know. I think I don't even think it's between anybody. I don't know if I can pull the trigger on any of these running backs right now. Deion Lewis kind of scares me.
Well, you have 2 picks, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So I think I will go Sammy Watkins, and then I'm gonna go Kerryon Johnson.
Told you. That's what I said behind your back. That's nice. And so Kerryon Johnson, Detroit Lions rookie running back, and you're getting him the very last pick of the 5th round. So you went Sammy first. So now you got him in the start of the 6th round at 6:01. So you have 4 receivers. Your flex spot now is occupied by Sammy Watkins. After you, how did it go?
Will Fuller comes off, a couple tight ends, and Jimmy Graham and Greg Olsen. Then the Deion Lewis and Chris Hogan. Now it comes up to you, sir. 7th pick of the 6th round.
So I'm either going, wow, see, like for me, the first name that popped out kind of was Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram's still available. I don't know if I want 2 Giants on my starting roster every single week. Not that that's a horrible thing. I don't know. I like to mix it up. And the way the offense looked last year was all sorts of messed up. Even though they didn't have Beckham and Barkley, it's a whole new offense. To me, I just can't take tight end. I don't care which one I get. So I'm going to pass on tight end, and I'm going to look at either running back or receiver for the rest of the draft for the time being. And the next available players is Carlos Hyde, Marlon Mack, Corey Davis, Rex Burkhead. I'm going to be honest, I don't love any of those guys. I don't know if Corey Davis is ready to take the next step yet, but for where I'm getting him, and he's going to be my 3rd receiver, I'm going to take Corey Davis and just hope that the volume that he gets with Mariota there, that he does eventually, some point during the season, take over the number 1 spot from Rashard Matthews, and if that happens, he should be getting a lot of targets. So I will go with Corey Davis at the 607. Carlos Hyde went off the board right after me. That puts Jay on the clock at 6:09.
Now, see, normally I've been off of Evan Ingram at where he's going, but I think that at the end of the 6th round and having to start a tight end, because you have to start one, I have no issues at all taking Evan Ingram this late. I don't think he's going to produce like he did last year because you have all those guys coming back healthy. He was kind of forced into that role last year, so I don't see him replicating what he did last year, but still a solid tight end one, and this is where I'm going to take Evan Ingram, is late 6th round here.
So that actually puts you at, you have 3 running backs, you have 2 wide receivers, and you have a tight end. Off the board after Evan Ingram went Tevin Coleman, Carson Wentz, Russell Wilson. Now at the start of the 7th round went Rex Burkhead, Marlon Mack, Michael Crabtree. Jay, you're back on the clock at 7:04 again.
And here I'm going to be looking at a few different wide receivers because I have to fill that role. It's obviously, like we said, it's a 3 receiver start, and you also have that flex spot. Right now I have a running back in the flex spot, so I'm okay. Next guys on the list that they have are Jordy Nelson, Emmanuel Sanders, Marquise Goodwin, Edelman Funchess. Nothing really stands out. They all kind of look like they're about the same type of guy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a guy that is getting a lot of hype out of camp this year. He's going to be my 3rd receiver. I'm going to go Emmanuel Sanders.
Are you before? Okay, you already took him. Before that, I just had a quick question. Is since you don't have a quarterback, and we're all about waiting on quarterbacks, and you know, if you don't get a top 2 or 3 guy, there is a guy that's still there, and Drew Brees, that finishes top 6 or top 5 every single season. Is now, if you don't pull the trigger now, is Drew Brees going to come all the way down to the 7th and back down around the 8th and still fall to your?
I don't think he'll fall to me, to be honest with you. There's still quite a few teams that don't have a quarterback, but this just shows you how deep it is. Like, now we're about to be in the 8th round.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quarterbacks are off the board.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're in the 8th round. But if you don't take Breeze, you still have Cam Newton out there. You still have Kirk Cousins. You still have Matt Stafford. You still have Andrew Luck. You still have Garoppolo. There's so many other good quarterbacks, and you're only starting 1. This isn't a super flex. So that just tells me that I'm okay with waiting.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're right.
He's okay.
Yeah. He doesn't care.
Emmanuel Sanders. Then right after that, Jay's pick is Jordy Nelson.
Oh, I picked Emmanuel Sanders, and then Nelson went off after.
Yeah.
Jay went Emmanuel Sanders, then Jordy Nelson. Now I'm on the clock.
Backwards. You said I went Jordy Nelson.
So I have 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a quarterback. I don't have a tight end yet. And the tight ends that are on the board in order is Kyle Rudolph, Delaney Walker, Jordan Reed, Trey Burton, Kittle.
So you still have a couple of top 10 guys.
Yeah, I like Rudolph and I like Delaney Walker. I just took Corey Davis, so that's kind of pushing me away from Delaney Walker. As consistent as he is, I don't want to start 2 guys on the Tennessee Titans offense not knowing what it's going to be.
It's like deja vu with Evan Ingram.
I don't like it, yeah. But I mean,
like same thing
I'd rather have Evan Ingram than Delaney Walker because the Tennessee Titans offense is, who knows what it is yet. That we haven't seen the new offensive coordinator and everything else is going to be put into place, so I don't really know. Are they still planning on running more than they throw? Are they planning on moving the ball and hurry up offense type of, sling the ball around, let Mariota do his thing?
So tight end out?
So I'm going to go either Kyle Rudolph or...
tight end's in.
Yeah, tight end's definitely still in play. I love me some tight ends. I'm actually looking at the running back position. I see a name that's jumping out at me, and it's going to be Tarek Cohen. So I'm going to take Cohen, another PPR guy to go with my Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley, and another guy that I could, if Corey Davis doesn't hit for me as my 3rd receiver, I can look somewhere else and maybe start all 3 of these guys in my flex, one of them in my flex, and maybe get a receiver later that can replace Corey Davis as more consistent as somebody that I trust a little bit more. So I'm going to take Tarek Cohen there, and he's off the board. That goes Jamal Williams. Then it goes Kyle Rudolph, Drew Brees, Cam Newton, Delaney Walker. So both tight ends I was considering are now gone. That's sometimes you got to kick yourself, and sometimes you got to be okay with the fact that I kind of knew that was going to happen, that one of those 2 guys are going to be gone. Also, 2 quarterbacks are off the board. So now there's 7 off the board. There's still 5 teams that don't have a quarterback, and 2 are in this room. One is Travis, and he's on the clock.
Yeah, so clearly I'm always going to be looking running back at this point because I only have 1. And they got C.J. Anderson's out there, Isaiah Crowell, Aaron Jones, who's not an option for me right now at all, Nick Chubb, who is one of my guys, so I guess he's always in play. You never know. Other than that, at this point, I'm not really looking at too many running backs that I like right now. Quarterback, I guess, could be an option as well. I'm going to double check.
But just to show you, like we're in the 8th round now, or seventh, late 7th, early 8th, and there's still running backs that are, quote unquote starters.
C.J. Anderson is one of them.
C.J. Anderson and Crowell are both the starters for their team.
Right.
No one loves them. They're not a sexy pick, but you're talking about the 8th round. You go with no running back, strategy, and you still have guys out there
And with
that you
him,
could possibly
with
plug
him,
in.
him having 2 picks, theoretically, if he didn't have any running backs, he's like, all right, I waited until the 8th, back into the 7th, 8th round. Now I'm going to take 2 back to back. You would, like you just said, C.J. Anderson and Crowell is not the worst case scenario there when you're stacked at receiver and tight end at that point.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you have options. Like you're not handcuffed.
Don't
to where
panic.
You're taking like.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. There's always good. That's what you got to do your homework a little bit. So when you do get deeper in the draft, that these guys aren't just their names aren't blurring together, and you can definitely pick guys out of a tier that you like better than some other guys. Like there's a few guys in the tier, like C.J. Anderson is definitely in play, and honestly, like Nick Chubb, like I would probably pull the trigger. I'm gonna take C.J. Anderson because I do need to get another running back.
I like that.
And quarterback.
So now it's pick 801, and there's 7 quarterbacks gone at this point. Like, do I double up on quarterback and screw you guys? Like, is that what's gonna happen here?
I don't even think
you still
that
can.
won't even
Yeah.
screw anybody.
Yeah.
It won't
'cause
screw
we're-
anybody. You still
Well,
can.
I mean, it still will. Like it'll instead of the 12th best quarterback, you might get the 13th or 14th if somebody else here in this mock draft takes another quarterback too.
Only if there's a quarterback run.
Right. That's what I mean.
Which I don't think anybody else on the auto pick is going to be taking a second quarterback when you put in one quarterback.
Yeah, but there's still 2 bench spots, and if that's
True.
the guy's next,
That's
You know,
true.
I'm gonna go Nick Chubb here. I got my 2 starting running backs. If Nick Chubb is the guy that I hope he is, then maybe he gets that job at some point in the season, and I got another starting running back.
could pay dividends.
One more quarterback gone right after Nick Chubb's pick. Kirk Cousins goes. And then a little string of receivers with Julian Edelman, Randall Cobb, Marquise Goodwin, and then Isaiah Crowell right ahead of James's pick.
So as of right now, for my team, I have a full roster of starters except for a tight end. I have my quarterback, 2 running backs, I have 3 receivers, I have a flex spot. So it's either I go tight end now and get it out of the way, or I opt to build depth on another position, whether that be running back or receiver. Since I have 3 of each, so I'm gonna look at wide receiver and I'm gonna look at tight end. Wide receiver is Devin Funchess, Robbie Anderson, Robert Woods, Alan Hearns, and Garcon is the next 4 or 5 guys off the board there. I'm gonna be honest, I don't love any one of them except for Robbie Anderson. I'm for Robbie Anderson to be my 4th guy after where he finished last season and what he did in New York. I feel very comfortable knowing that he's my 4th guy and could potentially start over Corey Davis if Corey Davis stumbles a little bit at the beginning of the season and it takes him a little while to start producing. So I'm gonna go Robbie Anderson and I'm gonna skip tight end again and go with Robbie Anderson as my first bench guy. Right after me went Devin Funchess, and now Jay's on the clock at the 809 pick.
This actually puts me in a pretty decent spot because I'm looking at receiver also. I'm going to wait on quarterback, and this is something you can do as the draft kind of comes to you. So now I'm at the 4 pick. The first and the second team both have quarterbacks. So normally you would maybe struggle with maybe taking a quarterback here, but I'm going to wait on quarterback because worst case scenario, only one more is going to go before my next pick. So I'm going to go with...
That's what you would think. That's normal. Like I know you're looking ahead, but you always have that one guy that for some strange reason takes a second quarterback, and you're like, are you serious? You're going to take your second quarterback before I have one? And then now that kind of sits not very well with you.
Okay, so let's put it the other way. I say I skip quarterback here, and 3 more go. 1 guy takes a starter, and 2 guys take a backup. That takes Luck, Garoppolo, Stafford out of the way. It still leaves me with Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Like, it still leaves me with a quality top 12 guy.
Right.
So that's why I will wait on quarterback. And I'm going to take, here's the guys I'm deciding between. It's Robert Woods and Pierre Garcon. It's a PPR league, so I'm going to go with Pierre Garcon. You can't say my team is super young because I have a lot of old receivers here, but
yeah, you do.
As my 4th receiver, I'm going to go with Pierre Garcon. And as it comes back around, only 1 more quarterback was taken, like we just talked about. So Trey Burton went right after I picked Garcon. Jordan Reed, Robert Woods, and then that same team took Chris Carson, and then Aaron Jones went, and then Matt Stafford right ahead of me, which leaves me in a good spot because
904.
Now I'm going to go quarterback, and I'm going to take
Andrew Luck.
I'm
aren't
going to
you?
take Andrew Luck ahead of Garoppolo.
Predictable city. Good pick. And now Garoppolo goes off the clock there. Travis still doesn't have a quarterback, but he doesn't care. So it went Matt Stafford, Andrew Luck, Jimmy Garoppolo, right in order. That puts me on the clock at 9:06. So now I'm definitely looking at tight end because they keep flying off the board, and I don't have one yet. I think I'm the only team that doesn't have one, right? Jay, do you have one?
What, tight end? Yeah.
You have any room. So I see one other team that doesn't have a tight end yet. So I can either wait and just let that last one guy go off the board, or I can get a guy that I semi-trust. So here's the guys that are there. Kittle, Tyler Eifert, Jack Doyle, Njoku, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, and it goes off the board from there.
Yikes.
Not very good. For me, I actually like Kittle, and I actually like Jack Doyle. I'm going to go Kittle and go with the Garoppolo hookup, and hopefully that the offense is down a lot of points and they throw a lot. Don't love it, to be honest. But
Yeah.
Who went after that, Travis?
Alan Hearns goes right after that. Then Phillip Rivers, LeGarrette Blount, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Parker, and then
Wow.
I'm up
Cooper
for
Kupp going in the 9-10 is a steal.
I think so.
That is
too.
a
Ninth
steal.
round's pretty good.
The guy could easily catch 75 balls this season and be the possible number 1 on the team or number 2 producing receiver on that team on a high scoring offense. That the 9th round, that's almost the 10th round. That's a steal for me for Cooper Kupp. If you're looking at who else went in that same round, like Alan Hearns, Aaron Jones, Chris Carson, I'd rather have Cooper Kupp than every one of those guys. So Travis now on the board with no. What does he need? He needs a quarterback, and that's it, really, right? You need a quarterback and then a bench. Quarterback and a bench player to round out his 9-12 and the 10-01.
Which quarterback are you looking at? You have, I mean, this is just goes to show you're in the 10th round, and you have guys like Matt Ryan, Roethlisberger, Jared Goff, Mariota, Carr, Alex Smith,
Pat Mahomes.
yeah, Pat Mahomes, Dak Prescott. You have a lot of guys there that can get you, possible top 12.
Don't stop scrolling.
Get a little too deep.
Yeah, honestly, if it was in a different format, I probably wouldn't take a quarterback yet.
But we're only doing 10 rounds.
Right, so I'll take Matt Ryan here. It doesn't really matter to me. I would have taken Roethlisberger, Mahomes, Ryan. They're all kind of the
Goff.
same for me. Mariota, like I would have taken any of those guys. And then I guess with my last pick, almost feels irrelevant with only doing 10 rounds.
Okay.
This will be one of your bench guys, and I mean, truth be told, like you said, you would probably wait on a quarterback. You probably could have waited 2 more rounds or so and still got one of those quality guys.
But you don't. Neither one of you guys sees that like Brady, Aaron Rodgers is like a huge upgrade. Even though you still got Matt Ryan who could potentially be a top 12 guy. You're talking a good 5 to 10 points possibly a week that those top higher end QBs are going to get over. Like for example, my 3rd round pick was Aaron Rodgers, and I usually don't do that. I really don't. But now that I'm looking at it and seeing what you got from waiting, it's like, yeah, these guys are okay guys. Like, they're feasible guys, but I think that Aaron Rodgers, over the course of this season, is going to outscore these guys by like tenfold. And if you look at who my 4th round guy is, being Larry Fitzgerald, and who you guys ended up taking in the 3rd round, which was Travis Kelce. I'm okay with Larry Fitzgerald versus Travis Kelce every single week. I think they can compete. Jay, you went Allen Robinson or Darius Geis. Again, I'm okay. I think Larry Fitzgerald is going to be right there with those guys, whereas Aaron Rodgers is going to consistently be outscoring these other quarterbacks, even though they're top 12 guys. You're talking a difference of possibly 5 to 10 to possibly 12 points on any given week.
Right, but you're comparing your quarterback to other quarterbacks, but you're comparing the other positional players to different positional players.
Well, just the round they were taking is what I'm
Well,
comparing.
I understand, but I mean, I don't look at it that way. I look at it like my positional advantage with Kelce above pretty much every other team that I'm going to play is a big advantage for taking him that early. I think, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is good, but I think the price that you pay for an advantage in some of the other positional areas against your competition is where you lose. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than the other quarterbacks for sure, but I think it's more about the other positional, how they kind of compare to each other, I think.
Okay. I'm trying to see both sides because I usually don't do that and take a quarterback, but I usually have somebody in my draft that takes Rodgers way early. I'm talking like beginning of the second round early. So the fact that he was there mid-round of the third, it was kind of hard to pass on him for the other guys that were around him. I would rather have a guy that's guaranteed that if he's healthy, he's going to get me the 20 to 25 points or more a week, whereas the guys that were going around him, like the Darius Geis and Alex Collins and such, Derrick Henry, like, I don't know, none of those picks were solid enough that I was ready to take there, I guess.
Well, you also have to look at it like, if you lose Aaron Rodgers, what's your replacement kind of value? You know what I mean? So, like, say if you lost Barkley and you took maybe another one of those running backs, like a Geis or whatever, you could replace your loss of Barkley probably better than you could replace your loss of Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers is top of the echelon, definitely. But losing him, like last year happened to a lot of people.
Yeah, and they still won their league with Aaron Rodgers, right? When did you take him? Third round? You and
I took him third round, yeah.
So do you think that's the norm, though? Like, if
the rest of your team is that, if you had a good draft and you don't have any other injuries but Aaron Rodgers, then
well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have any injuries, then the rest of your draft was great. Yeah, for sure. But do you think that's kind of the norm, though? If you lose that quality of a player?
No.
Exactly. I think it's a risk you take. And I wouldn't fault anybody for kind of going that route. Like, I wouldn't fault you for taking Aaron Rodgers there, because if you want him, that's where you're going to have to take him.
No, we went Rodgers last year in the big boy, the $500 league, and the reason why we did so well after Rodgers went down is because I basically streamed a quarterback every week on whoever was playing the worst matchup, and the start of my draft went fantastic. I had Antonio Brown in the first round with, I think, the fourth overall pick, and then Gurley fell to me because a lot of people were down on Gurley last year. So I had a start of Brown and Gurley, and then went Aaron Rodgers. So those guys were the guys that carried me to the championship, Gurley and Brown.
Correct. Yeah.
All right, I'll get my pick out of the way. I'm going to take Sterling Shepard.
Nice.
As a late running back or wide receiver, excuse me.
After him, who went?
Jamison Crowder, then Ty Montgomery, Chris Thompson, Corey Clement, Kelvin Benjamin, and now James is up with his last pick in the 10th round.
I only have 3 running backs. I have 4 receivers, so I'm just gonna even it out. I'm gonna take a running back here, and it's between you have Doug Martin, Foreman, you have Duke Johnson, Devontae Booker, Latavius Murray. Man, it's sketchy, huh? Wow, I'm scrolling way down here. I don't love any of these guys, so let me look at wide receiver just to see. It's Calvin Ridley, Aguilar, Mike Williams. Ooh, DJ Moore, Cameron Meredith. Yeah, see, there's a lot. See, this is the thing, is like you never know, but you're looking at the wide receivers, and I love about 8 names out of the top 20 that are still available that I would love to have on my team. And you look at running backs, and you're like, there's just not great, sexy names that you're ever going to want to start. You know, I'm never going to look at these guys and be like, man, I really want to start Duke Johnson this week. I don't really want to ever start Doug Martin. But if you look at wide receiver, these guys actually have a chance to produce and do very well. And I don't know. To me, I love DJ Moore this season. I think he's going to get a lot of targets. I also love Meredith, so I'm going to go DJ Moore and go wide receiver. And both my bench players are going to be wide receivers, I guess. And then right after me went Tyler Eifert at the 10:08, and Jay is now on the clock at 10:09.
With me, I already have 4 receivers. Instead of going with an extra receiver on my bench, I'm going to just cover up and make sure that I have depth at the running back position, especially, like I said, with Dalvin Cook. If any kind of injuries happen again, I will go Duke Johnson here, especially sticking with the whole PPR theme. I don't expect him to get a lot of carries, but I do expect them for the Browns to use him in that same role, especially now with the wide receiver situation in flux. So I think that Duke Johnson will be used quite a bit. I will take him as my 4th running back in that 10th round.
Finished up with, see, there's the quarterback. So if we would have done one more round, maybe. Finished up with Calvin Ridley, went off the board after Duke Johnson, then Ben Roethlisberger, then Pat Mahomes was the Mr. Irrelevant at the 10-12. So that's through 10 rounds. So do we want to snap these, take screenshots, and maybe put them up on like a poll, or I don't know how you want to do that. Maybe take a picture of it and see who. Maybe we can vote, see who had the better team, or is that kind of hard to do?
No, what I can do is I'll take snaps of all 3 of our teams.
Okay.
Not the entire draft.
Right.
Maybe.
That's what I mean.
And then that way people can kind of see it. I'll put it up on Twitter at Triple Co Podcast, and I'll also put it up on Instagram, which is just Triple Coverage Podcast.
All right.
Alrighty.
So maybe we'll revisit this like in a couple weeks right before the season starts and do another mock and see if anything's changed in strategy.
I think stuff will change. It's going to have. It's only the 7th of August that we actually did this mock draft on. So we're talking about the first week of August. A lot of things are going to change.
I agree.
Yeah, and how you draft depends on where you draft from. So, like, I probably would have drafted much different if I was in a different spot than the 12th. So,
Me
yeah,
too.
for sure.
And if we kept drafting like another couple of rounds, I think that also played into it. As like me taking a tight end where I took him, like I knew that I kind of had to. But same thing with Jay on the quarterback situation. Maybe you guys wait another round or two, and like Travis said, instead of getting Matt Ryan, he gets Pat Mahomes or Ben Roethlisberger or somebody like that a round or two even later than that, and they're pretty much in the same tier. I think all of us agree on that. So,
Yeah.
But it all depends on your roster construction, and it all depends on who you have to start and how many guys you have to play, and all that kind of stuff plays into it. So anything can be different in any situation.
I agree.
All right, you guys ready to crack it?
Yeah,
That's
let's do
great.
it.